Welcome to Go Math Lesson 3.5. Today we worked on multiplying with regrouping. And for our parents, this is the way that you learned how to multiply and the way that I learned how to multiply, so this should be something you can help with ease. Let's take a look at the first problem. We want to round to estimate, so 68 rounds to 70 and 53 rounds to 50. And here we have our 7 times 5 is 35, and we add our two zeros. So that's basic straightforward estimating. Now before we begin this problem, I reminded students in class today that we've done problems like this. 68 times 3, we did that a while ago, and they're used to that. 3 times 8 is 24, carry the 2. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. We've done that. We also did 68 times 5 tens. And this 5 right here is in the tens place, so it's 5 tens. So we also did that. 5 times 8 is 40, carry the 4. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4 is 34. And because it's tens, we would have 3,400 as our answer for that part. And you'll see where these fit right into the problem that we're doing. So let's take a look. We're going to ignore the 5 for now, and we're just going to distribute the 3. 3 times 8 is 24, carry the 2. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. And this is our problem that we just did over here. Now because we're multiplying by tens, you can see here when we said the word tens, we added a 0. So we start with putting a 0 in. And now we can just focus on the 5. 5 times 8 is 40. Put down the 0, carry the 4. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4 is 34. And you can see that we end up with this same partial product we did before when we just broke it apart. So now again we add our partial products. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 0 is 0. 4 plus 2 is 6. 3 plus nothing is 3. And if we look, we can check for reasonableness, and it works out pretty good. One of the neat things that the kids kind of discovered today was how yesterday's lesson really related to today's lesson, and I'll share that connection with you so that you can see where we made this connection. If we use the same problem, 68 times 53, last night's homework had us look at it this way. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 60 is 180. 50 times 8 is 400. And 50 times 60 is 3,000. And the kids made a really interesting connection today. They said, look, if we put these two together, we get our first partial product of 204. And that makes sense because both of these answers come from multiplying by the 3, where over here, this whole answer comes from multiplying by the 3. And if we put these two partial products together, this is what we got when we multiplied by the 5. And that makes sense because this came from multiplying by 5, and this came from multiplying by the 5. So the kids saw that we're really just condensing what we did yesterday into 2 steps. Let's do one more together. First to estimate, 61 rounds to 60 times 54 rounds to 50. We have our basic fact of 6 times 5 is 30. Add 2 zeros. So our answer should be around 3,000. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. There's no regrouping in that one. Now we can ignore this 4, and sometimes the kids wanted to cross it off so they didn't look at it. We start with a 0 because we're multiplying by really 50, and that would hold the tens place. So now we can just think. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. And if we add those two together, 4, 9, 2, 3, 3,294 is close to 3,000. you can see where knowing your basic facts really is helpful because we're getting into more complicated problems, and if the students know their facts, they can get through these problems much easier than trying to count and not use their fingers and then try to figure out the process of multiplication. I hope this helps.